All right, good afternoon or good evening. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Building in Chief David Reimer. We've got a tornado warning now for, looks like it's going to be for portions of Fannin County. Now, let me go ahead and dive back over here. We've got a tornado warning that will not include Whitewright. However, this tornado warning up in Fannin County, which is going to be northeast of Dallas, west of Paris, north of Greenville, is for a thunderstorm that may have actually put a tornado down about 15 minutes ago. We've received a Twitter photo of a funnel cloud that was over halfway to the ground with this thunderstorm when it was back southwest of Leonard. So this tornado warning will include the towns of Trenton, the town of Bailey, Leonard, Bonham, stays just north of Wolf City, and Ladonia, Dodge City. This does not at this time include the city of Honeygrove. So again, this is going to be a tornado warning now until 7 p.m. for portions of Fannin County in northeast Texas for a thunderstorm that may have produced a brief tornado at about 6:10 p.m. and is showing strong rotation aloft. Let's go ahead and switch over from the the how hard it's raining mode to the which way the wind's blowing mode. You can see we've got a well-defined circulation just north of the city of Leonard at this time. I'm going to turn on the probing. You can see we've got winds moving towards the radar in Fort Worth, about 50 miles an hour, winds moving away about 30. So we've got about 80 mile per hour winds, and this is going to be a strong circulation that may have actually put a tornado down at about 6:10 southwest of Leonard. We haven't received any reports of a confirmed tornado with this. However, we did see a photo taken around 6:10 that did clearly show the potential for a tornado, or at least a funnel cloud. So that is why we are here, a tornado warning until 7 p.m. for Fannin County. Switch back over to the how hard it's raining mode. You can see that thunderstorm there. We've got other strong to severe thunderstorms extending from Blue Ridge southwest to McKinney. We've got a supercell thunderstorm on Interstate 30 over Royce City and Fate. This storm's capable of producing quarter to golf ball size hail and is apparently starting to develop a wall cloud closer to the surface. We'll keep an eye on that. Storms back in the DFW Metroplex. These are not severe, but they are producing small hail, dime to penny size hail. Gusty winds. They're moving northeast quite quickly at about 45 miles per hour. We've got severe storms extending from near Terrell south along Highway 34 through Kaufman down to just northeast of Ennis. And all these storms are moving northeast at about 45 miles per hour. We've got other strong to perhaps severe storms with hail extending down Highway 31. Southwest of Corsicana, we've got a pretty good hail core now along Highway 31 just east from near Hubbard to Mount Com. They'll be moving towards Coolidge and Richland over the next 30 minutes. We've got a storm producing some heavy rain, maybe some pea-sized hail on the northeast or on the north side of Waco. Extending further southwest, we do have thunderstorms starting to develop into the Brazos Valley, and these storms are moving northeast, capable of producing small hail, gusty winds. At this time, they are not severe. We're going to be keeping an eye on them, though, because longtime viewers of us know, or anyone who knows much about weather wingieism, is that these thunderstorms that are out discrete by themselves can sometimes be a little more interesting. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Something that does play into this evening's severe weather threat is we've got some higher instability back along this line of storms from northeast of Waco up to Bonham. The instability across East Texas right now isn't all that significant, especially in the low levels. That's expected to ramp up over the next few hours as those southerly winds keep pumping in more moisture-rich and unstable air across eastern Texas. So the main reason we are here with severe weather coverage is a tornado warning for southern Fannin County. This is going to be for a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near or just northeast of the town of Leonard, moving up Highway 78 towards Bailey. We're going to switch over to the which way the wind's blowing mode. You can definitely see we have strong indications of rotation aloft with this thunderstorm. This thing did have a funnel cloud about 20 minutes ago southwest of Leonard, and it at this point could produce a tornado at any time. We now have winds gate to gate up to 90 miles an hour. It was 80 miles an hour a few minutes ago, so the rotation aloft is increasing. Now, something we are going to have to deal with across this portion of northeast Texas is the radar is about 75 miles to the southwest down in Benbrook. That means we're looking at about 7,500 feet above the ground, meaning we're looking at the mid levels of the thunderstorm. We are not looking at the low levels. We're not looking at a tornado here. We're looking well above where the tornado would be, and we're looking again 7 to 8,000 feet aloft. That doesn't tell us what's going on in the first few thousand feet above the ground or at the ground. It just tells us what's going on in the mid levels, which puts us at a disadvantage because we can't really tell you exactly what's going on in the low levels. Yeah, we have strong rotation aloft. Does that extend all the way down to the surface? I can't tell you. Now, there will be a helpful addition to the radar network later this year, I believe in June or July. Leonard. Thank you, Justin. The emergency management up in Durant, Oklahoma actually got a grant to put in their own weather radar. Whether or not we're going to be able to use that to show you visually what's going on, I don't know, but at least, there'll be a weather radar that provides a more accurate representation of what's going on in the low levels of the thunderstorm. All right, so we are getting reports via amateur radio storm spotters that there is a funnel cloud with this thunderstorm southwest of Bailey. It is unknown if it's touching the ground, but we have at least a funnel cloud, so we know that this very strong rotation aloft at about 7,500 feet at least is extending down into the low levels of the thunderstorm where we have enough rotation to produce a funnel cloud. So, again, those of you in Bailey, this strong rotation's riding up Highway 78. It'll be crossing Highway 11 here, east of Randolph, northwest of Wolf City, very near the town of Bailey, over the next 20 minutes as this thunderstorm moves northeast at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. Now, while we're here, let's switch back over to the how hard it's raining mode. We'll take a look at some other thunderstorms. Storm on the east side of McKinney, probably dropping some dime to penny size hail. Some hail falling in Fate and Royce City right now, with some disorganized low-level rotation. Storms in the DFW Metroplex are scattered but producing pockets of small hail. One such pocket about to cross over the Dallas North Tollway between the President George Bush Turnpike and 635. Another storm in Arlington crossing over Highway 360 and Spur 303. Producing probably lots of pea to dime size hail that'll be passing just south of the ballpark in about 2 miles south of the ballpark, south of Six Flags, south of Jerry World, and etc. Moving east-northeast, this will probably pass over the north side of Mountain Creek Lake, the Naval Reserve Station there on the Dallas-Grand Prairie border before moving into West Dallas near Interstate 30 and Loop 12 before, honestly, it's probably going to make a beeline towards or just south of Dallas Love Field with some small hail over the next 20 minutes. And again, we have other little thunderstorms doing the same thing. These storms are not severe. They could produce some hail for sure, especially this one over Arlington, which does seem to be a little rambunctious in the hail department. I just said it was going to stay south of Six Flags and the ballpark and Jerry World, and it just jumped north a couple miles. So, goes to show you, Mother Nature will try to make a fool out of me as often as she can. But anyway, we're here because of this thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado riding up Highway 78. Ooh, I can press buttons. Riding up Highway 78 towards Bailey. Rotation doesn't look as organized now as it did, but it's still there. And we're also starting to see some increasing signs of mid-level rotation with these thunderstorms down from Kaufman. See that little... Here, I'm going to draw. And I know that's horrific. Right here. It's a little bit of a circulation starting to develop in the mid-levels. We don't see a lot of rotation on the velocity data, but I am seeing photos of a wall cloud visually. I'm going to check our video sources real quick. I'll pop this other one back on here. See if Mr. Cooley's live stream is back up. Jason and Adam. Data's actually been a bit difficult out in eastern North Texas today. A little more issues than we had last year. So yeah, his live stream isn't up right now either. So again, we're just going to be keeping an eye on things as we go through the evening. The threat for tornadoes will remain low, not zero as we've seen, but again, we're not expecting a big time issue with tornadoes. As we switch, we'll switch over to the velocity mode. I'm going to loop this over the last half hour, and you'll be able to see as the data loads. We did have some rotations southwest of Leonard earlier. Storm rotation definitely increased around Leonard about the time they issued the tornado warning. Looks a little weaker now in the mid-levels over the last several minutes, but that doesn't mean the threat for a tornado is gone. It just means the storm is likely cycling. And again, we're looking about 7,000 to 8,000 feet above the ground. I can tell you what's going on in the mid-levels, but what does that translate to down at the surface? That's what storm spotters tell us and storm chasers, because the radar is so far away from these storms in northeast Texas, and we don't have a radar in northeast Texas, that oftentimes we're looking 7, 8, 10. By the time you get up to Paris, we're looking about 14,000 feet above the surface. I can tell you that there's a hail core aloft. I can tell you that it's rotating aloft, but I can't tell you if something's going on in the low levels because the radar simply does not work that way. The farther away you get from a radar, the higher up the radar beam goes. The radar beam shoots straight out of the radar at about 2 to 3 tenths of a degree above zero. So even at that relatively close angle to the Earth, by the time you get 100 miles away from the radar, you're looking 10,000 feet above the surface, give or take. So, unfortunately, that's just how it works. Science is science, contrary to the flat earthers who, disregard science. But we're not going to go down that tangent. That just doesn't sound like a good idea. So, we'll switch back over to the how hard it's raining mode, and you can see storm coming up on Bailey, capable of producing hail and a brief tornado. We've not heard any reports of low-level rotation, funnel clouds, or any tornadoes over the last 10 minutes. We had one funnel cloud southwest of Leonard at about 6:10 p.m., and we had a funnel cloud reported between Bailey and Leonard about 10 minutes ago. But we have not heard any reports of a tornado, which is a good thing. You don't want tornadoes. But we'll be keeping an eye on things. Now, fortunately, as I zoom out and take a look, you can see we're dealing with a lot of thunderstorms here. That's generally a good thing. The more thunderstorms you have in an air mass, the more each thunderstorm fights another thunderstorm to dominate that air mass. Where we have this squall line, and let me turn the lightning off. We know there's lightning. It's spring now. Not technically, but frankly, it's spring, let's be honest. So, we know there's thunderstorms. We know they're making lightning. That's what thunderstorms do. We don't need to look at the lightning right now. We've got a broken to nearly solid line of storms extending from, for all intents and purposes, Bonham to Honey Grove, all the way down through Greenville, Terrell, Kaufman, coming up on Gun Barrel City, Corsicana, and then we'll switch down to the Granger radar, which will probably go down the minute a lightning strike gets within 10 miles. Then you can see, looking further southwest, we have thunderstorms all the way down into the Brazos Valley. Now, you see these individual thunderstorms starting to go up? Those are going to be storms we're going to watch just in case they manage to find some sort of enhanced low-level air mass. And I'm going to actually analyze this thunderstorm that is northwest of Alto, just southwest of Rusk. I'm looking at a different radar real quick. But this might be what we consider a mini supercell. At least it's capable of producing quarter-size hail, some gusty winds. As we switch over to look at the velocity data, you can see it's very noisy. Those purples indicate the radar is having trouble determining the wind direction, but I'm going to watch these individual storms just in case. And it's got a bit of a suspicious feature right there, so we'll keep an eye on it. Definitely nothing we're concerned about in the tornado department right now. I'm going to turn on surface observations. We'll see if there's a weather station near this area that'll be kind enough to provide us with data. And see, we do have one between Jacksonville and Rusk on 69. So the temperature is 63 degrees. The dew point is 59. That's not your typical tornadic air mass. Temperatures are a little low in that area. And dew points, honestly, I mean, they're higher than further northwest, that's for sure, but we're not dealing with a typical tornadic air mass. Typically, we want to see dew points up in the 60s, so that's why we're not dealing with a higher tornado threat this evening, even though we have plenty of low-level wind shear. There's just not quite enough moisture in place for all of that. But as we progress towards sunset and after sunset, we may see, as temperatures start to cool, and the temperature dew point difference starts to decrease, we'll see cloud bases start to lower, and we'll see if we have any sort of antecedent increase in tornado issues. Regardless, tornado threat is expected to remain low, and we are not expecting a widespread tornado event tonight or this evening. The main issue by far will continue to be hail, localized gusty winds, and honestly, we're going to have to keep an eye out for lightning strikes in some of these areas that start grass fires because it's been so dry. If lightning strikes outside a precipitation core and there's no rain to put the fire out, well, it is problematic in that department. Thank you, Laura, for your Patreon sponsorship. We appreciate it. So I'm going to check on a few things real quick. We'll switch back over to the which way the wind's blowing mode. Make sure I'm on the right radar. It's always good to do that. You can see we are starting to see an increase in rotation again with this thunderstorm aloft near Bailey. And it looks like there's a funnel cloud report in that general area as well. So we've heard no reports of a tornado, but we have heard reports of funnel clouds, which is not a surprise, but hey, you know what? If we can keep things from touching down, that is good. And by the way, thank you to all those who are giving super chats on YouTube and stars on Facebook. We really appreciate it. It helps us pay for bills, you know, like storm chasing, gas, and the equipment needed to run all of this. I've actually got 8 computer monitors around me. This computer right here is not cheap. So, thank you for all that. We'll switch back over to the how hard it's raining mode again. Even though we're looking about 8,000 feet above the surface, you can still see indications that this thunderstorm's rotating. This is the rain and hail core. You can see a inflow notch here. This might be almost a battered weak echo region, or an area of lighter precipitation. And it really does sound like we do have a problem with this now, so let me quit being a nerd and we'll talk about this. Receiving multiple reports now from amateur radio of funnel clouds, and I believe a unconfirmed report from the Fannin County Sheriff's Office, I believe, of damage to buildings on Highway 78. I don't know exactly where. But again, this is a situation where this thunderstorm either had a very strong rear flank downdraft that caused damage on 78 between, well, I don't know where, to be honest, so I'm not going to speculate. But again, this thunderstorm does seem to be trying to do spinny things at this point. So those of you between Bailey, Wolf City, Ladonia, southwest of Honey Grove, south of Dodge City, you need to take your tornado safety precautions. That'll be your lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Do not stay in mobile homes or trailer homes. You can't do that. That's just not going to work in this situation. Even a weak tornado, which I suspect this would be if it does become a tornado, is more than capable of tossing a trailer home into a tree or disintegrating it. And we don't want that with people inside because that's how people get killed. So, switch back over to the how hard it's raining mode. You can see that this storm, hail core, We're looking about 8,000 feet above the surface. There's some tilt involved with radar. Likely starting to see this thunderstorm progressing near or just east of Highway 11 over the next few minutes as it moves east-northeast. If you're in west of Ladonia, if you're on Highway 34, north of Wolf City, to Ladonia, I'd advise you to take your tornado safety precautions. If you are south of Highway 56 between Bonham and Honeygrove, I'd advise you to take your tornado safety precautions. Let's just box it on in. If you are east, here, I'm going to draw east of Highway 78, along and northeast of Highway 11, west of Highway 34 from Highway 11 to Highway 34, and west of Highway 34 from Honeygrove to Ladonia, I'd advise you to take your tornado safety precautions. And of course, if you're south of Highway 56, you need to take your tornado safety precautions. Again, lowest floor, center room, away from windows. You put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. No trailers, no mobile homes. Do not be in a vehicle if you are in proximity of this possible tornado. And we'll switch back over to the which way the wind's blowing mode, and you can see we've still got some pretty good indications of rotation aloft. Even though we're looking at about 8,000 feet, we've got winds moving away from the radar in Fort Worth about 40 to 50 miles an hour. Winds moving towards the radar at about 40 miles an hour. So about a 90 mile an hour circulation with this thunderstorm. And we do continue to receive reports from storm spotters on amateur radio of funnel cloud. So whether or not that funnel touches the ground, we have rear flank downdraft winds on the backside of the circulation that might be causing problems, or both. It would be wise for folks to remain in shelter and take this storm seriously. I realize folks like to go out and look for these things, but if you are in the path of this storm, you really do not need to be doing that. And that'll be especially true over the next several hours as these thunderstorms continue moving further to the east, and we end up having these thunderstorms move into, well, one, continue after dark, and two, continue moving east into areas that are much more forested with more limited visibility. Switch back over to the how hard it's raining mode, and again, since we're looking about 8,000 feet above the surface, this thunderstorm isn't going to have your classic hook echo, but this thunderstorm certainly does have enough of a signature even at about 8,000 feet to 9,000 feet at this point, that certainly combined with spotter reports that this thing could definitely put a tornado down, if it doesn't have a tornado down right now. I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity. Let's zoom out. We'll zoom back to the west. Storm just northeast of Gainesville does have the potential for small hail. Same thing with this thunderstorm on 380 moving northeast towards Westminster and Blue Ridge in eastern Collin County. Storms in the DFW Metroplex scattered in nature. Probably small hail on Preston Road and the Dallas North Tollway around 6:35 between the President George Bush Turnpike and Loop 12 on the north side of Dallas into University Park. Another strong storm near Dallas Baptist University coming up on Highway 180 or Division Street, if you prefer the Tarrant County version, north of Mountain View Community College. Moving to the northeast, that'll pass probably near Love Field here in the next 15 minutes. Another strong storm over southern Fort Worth, moving over Edgecliff Village, Interstate 20. That'll be making its way towards the East Loop and Interstate 30, with another little storm moving into Pantego at this point. Those storms all capable of producing small hail, gusty winds, not tornadic, not severe. Looking farther southwest, we've got pretty much a line of thunderstorms now, from near Gun Barrel City to Corsicana. Little hail core in Corsicana right now, it looks like. Could have some quarter-size hail with that. And then storms extend southwest, Oak Valley, Richland, down to Coolidge, Hubbard, moving northeast at, I'm going to assume about 45 miles an hour or so. We'll double check. They've got it moving east-northeast at 45 miles an hour. So there we go. And then further southwest into the central Texas area and the Brazos Valley. We'll take a look at these thunderstorms. These are not severe. Gusty winds, small hail, brief heavy rain, which would be welcome. Looks like a storm producing small hail crossing over Highway 6, 190, northwest of Bryan. Another storm capable of producing quarter-size hail near Somerville, quickly moving northeast towards the south end of College Station over the next 20 minutes. Even more storms, honestly, extending even further southwest. You can see these thunderstorms, Bastrop County, southwest, east of Lulling, Gonzales, down to Nixon, Stockdale. This one near Nixon could have some hail. And then we'll check these storms in East Texas real quick just to make sure we do not have any sort of mischievous behavior ongoing. This storm near Rusk, Alto, producing quarter-size hail as it crosses over Highway 69. We'll check for any rotation aloft. And there is some. This storm is definitely rotating aloft, but I don't believe it is tornadic or near surface based at this time. That being said, we are definitely going to be watching this thunderstorm closely as it moves northeast in an area with decent low-level wind shear, but some other ingredients are just borderline supportive of tornado genesis, so we'll keep an eye on it. I mean, this storm up near Bonham, south of Bonham, near Leonard up to Bailey may have produced a brief tornado or two over the last 30 minutes, so if it did it up there, it could probably do it down here with these storms further east in East Texas, but we do not see signs of that right now. But we'll keep an eye on it. That's what we do. We'll go back up to our tornado-warned thunderstorm. It's 6:52 p.m., about 15 seconds away from that. It is the 14th of March, 2021. I'm David Reimer. We've got a tornado warning until 7 p.m. for southern Fannin County in North Texas. This is northeast of Dallas, west of Paris, east of Whitewright, southeast of Bonham. This thunderstorm has produced multiple reports of funnel clouds. We've also got damage reports now on Highway 78. Exactly where, I don't know. But we'll pop over to the which way the wind's blowing mode, and we've got very strong velocities indicated. Again, I want to caution folks, this is 9,000 feet above the surface. So I'm not trying to be specific here in terms of roads because there's tilt involved with radar. Thunderstorms are not just straight up and down. Like in the summertime, you see a thunderstorm go straight up, or, a thunder boom or whatever. With these setups, the updrafts are tilted because winds aloft are coming out of the west-southwest at 100 miles an hour or more. That pushes the updrafts over. They tilt. So thunderstorms at the surface are tilted over, maybe a mile or more, by the time you reach 10,000 feet in some cases. So that's why I'm not trying to pinpoint roads on here. I'm being general. If you are northeast of Highway 11, east of Bailey, west of Ladonia, south of Highway 56, south of Dodge City, south of Windham, southwest of Honeygrove, this thunderstorm is capable of producing a tornado, may be producing one right now. We're looking at 9,000 feet, but we've got impressive amounts of shear showing up. Winds about 55 miles an hour towards the radar in Benbrook, about 40 away, so we're getting closer to 95 to 100 mile per hour gate-to-gate wind shear with this thunderstorm, and that jives up with the reports of funnel clouds we're getting from storm spotters. So that's why we're here. We've got a tornado warning that continues for another 7 minutes or so. We'll see if it's extended. Those of you in Leonard to Trenton, you are clear from this tornado warning. You do have additional thunderstorms to your south-southwest that may say hello, but at this time, you're good. If you're in Bailey, you're clear. If you are east of Bailey, stay in shelter. But if you are in Bailey, west and south of 78, west of 78, west of 11, you're clear. If you were between Highway 11 and Highway 34, between Wolf City and Highway 56 up to Dodge City, you need to be in your tornado safe places. Again, that's your lowest floor. Center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. No trailers, no mobile homes, no vehicles. Pretty good hail core about to move back into Arlington. Pantego's getting some small hail, maybe penny to dime size hail. Moving up into Arlington, that'll say hello to Interstate 30 and most of Arlington over the next 10 minutes. Pretty good little hail core over West Dallas, moving over Interstate 35 here shortly, and receiving multiple reports of funnel clouds now from area fire departments, amateur radio spotters. So, in all honesty, there probably is at least an intermittent tornado occurring with this thunderstorm between Bailey, Ladonia, south of Highway 56. So, again, if you're in this area, take shelter. All right. Funnel clouds are being reported. Funnel clouds can quickly touch down and be tornadoes, and funnel clouds may also, at some point, I mean, sometimes you can't see the ground circulation because of trees and such, so you need to take storms seriously, and that's why a tornado warning is in effect. But otherwise, yes, we have multiple storms capable of producing large hail north of Bryan, College Station south of Bryan, College Station near Snook, moving northeast. Those are capable of producing hail. We've got additional storms developing from west of LaGrange, southwest of Gonzales to Nixon. Moving northeast, those could at some point produce some hail and wind. We've got storms all out by themselves in portions of East Texas. Only severe storm right now, in addition to a strong storm probably producing some hail over the city of Jacksonville, is this thunderstorm over 69 between Rusk and Alto, about halfway between each town. And all these storms are moving northeast at, well, these are moving more slowly at about 20 to 25 miles an hour. Storms up here closer to northeast Texas moving faster and a bit more upper level energy. These are moving at about 45 miles an hour. With that, I'm going to take a water break. So as we switch back over to the How Hard It's Raining mode, coming up to 7 p.m. now. Good evening. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy and Chief David Reimer. We're here because we've had a tornado warning for about 30 to 40 minutes now across Fannin County, with a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado between Bailey and Ladonia, south of Highways 82 and 56, generally north of Highway 34, up in Fannin County. This warning does not include Trenton or Leonard. This storm tornado warning does not include Bonham or at this time Honeygrove. So if you're in Bonham, Leonard, Trenton, Bailey, Wolf City, you're good to go. You're not under a tornado warning. You only need to take action if you're in the polygon. And if you're not in this red box of doom, you're not in the polygon. And yes, red box of doom is my little nickname. I'm going to take a look at some data. My apologies. Welcome to the life of a multitasker. I'll take this opportunity to thank folks who have been sending in YouTube super chats and stars. I do appreciate it, and we appreciate it. It helps us pay for bills, pay for all sorts of monthly bills that do not go away just because it's not storm season. As you might expect, storm chasing with gas the way it is right now is not the most pleasant of topics. We do have live streaming storm chase video on our YouTube page. Search for Texas Storm Chasers on YouTube. And you can also find it on our Facebook page, Twitter, website, free mobile app, TexasStormChasers.com, etc. So we'll switch back over to the which way the wind's blowing mode. And, that's pretty funny in terms of how quickly Mother Nature or storms could change. Check it out. That rotation aloft is completely gone. at this point. We'll switch to a different product and show a loop. I'll just load a half-hour loop and you'll be able to see. We had some decent rotation. It's just gone. So that's a good omen, for now at least. We'll keep an eye on things, but it looks like the National Weather Service has elected to not extend the tornado warning for Fannin County. So at this point, we are down to no tornado warnings. We have a plethora of thunderstorms producing hail and gusty winds, but that's expected to be the primary hazard this evening. You can track the storms in your neighborhood, across the state, across the country, with the Texas Storm Chasers Interactive Weather Radar on our website or in our mobile app. TexasStormChasers.com/radar on the website. Search for the Texas Storm Chasers free mobile app in the Google Store and in the Apple App Store. You'll find it. Lots of folks using it. It's free, so check it out. Otherwise, we'll be back by 7:30 or 8 p.m. if necessary. We'll go on sooner if another tornado warning is issued or something else happens. Otherwise, I'm David Reimer with the Texas Storm Chasers. Thanks for tuning in this evening. We'll see you all again by 8 p.m.